Hey, why you guys worried? I just got some milk. Come on now. What do you? Come on. Like for real. Yeah. The kid and the mom is healthy. It's a W. It's a double W. How sleep deprived am I? A little bit. You know what helps? Mad Monk. Amazing supplements for gamers. Check them out. Link in the description below. Hey guys, Kuru here. Check out Instant Gaming for cheap game keys. Click the link in the description below. You guys curious? You guys curious for the name? So we were scrambling for names, right? And I suggested Theo, and she liked it. So that's it. That's the name. Not Theodore, just Theo. Just Theo, not Theodore. Kept it short. So I got the default settings running right now. No idea if I have to adjust this. I probably will have to. The moment when it happened. It was fairly normal, I would say. But you know, the thing is during childbirth, like Lisa and I were both extremely exhausted. Like we were both awake for 32 hours. And then it took another 2 hours before we could go to sleep. Actually more. Never mind. No, never mind. Like he was born shortly after midnight and we went to sleep at 5 AM. So we were awake for 36 plus hours. And then in the follow-up days, you know, it also takes a while to, you know, get accustomed to a new sleeping schedule. Because now you have to sleep like in blocks, right? You sleep like 2 hours here, 2 hours there, 2 hours there. You try to spread that out over the day and get your sleep back in. Well, that looks hella different than usual. Hey, thanks for hype-chain, guys. So one thing that's still missing is like the lights on the cars. Hey, kids are expensive and you are gonna pay for it. Man, everything's so dark. But it does add some mood to the game. The thing is the car lights do work. Look at the sides. This is my car. Look at the light. It doesn't project well to the ground. It projects better to the sides. You see this? This is quite intense. Not gonna lie. With limited visibility. I think we might need a little bit more brightness. Let's see. I think there's a brightness setting here. How long until the work in progress finishes? I mean, I don't think even the developers for these mods know. Okay, one thing I will say, this runs way better than any ray tracing mod we've ever played. Because usually these ray tracing mods have terrible frame rates. Sacrifice, appreciate the share.
Now we have 2 Kurus on the world, congrats.
Hey, I can't wait. Can't wait for my son to be old enough to play video games with him. Because there's one thing I remember about my dad. He sucked at video games. Like I was 6 years old and I beat him already in everything. So yeah, I'm looking forward to be a bit more of a challenge. He let me win. No, I know he didn't. I know he didn't because we played again. We played again when I was 12 and he was still playing the same. Alright, let me check for the FPS counter after. But I can tell we're close to 60 most of the time. Obviously we drop below it from time to time. But this looks good. Obviously it looks great with the ray tracing. Definitely a way forward. And it's really cool to see Underground 2 this way. So yeah, for basic settings, I would say try if you can run on quality. And definitely turn up the brightness. Let me try a little bit more. Nice. Let me try 69. If I want even more brightness. I mean, honestly, it doesn't start to look worse. Okay, let's be stupid. Let's max it out. I don't hate it. Obviously, this is super bright, but I do think that looks better. I really don't feel like it's too bright. But I guess this is up to your personal preference. I gotta be honest though, I don't hate 100% brightness. Because now we can make out the details a lot better. Well, the default was balanced. Balanced, everything is gonna be a bit more soft, but obviously you're gonna get better frame rates. I mean, it's obviously not that much of a visual downgrade if you ask me. But I do think we can push it a little bit. Ooh, let's try full resolution. This probably will kill the frame rate, but let's see. Oh yeah. If you go to full resolution, you're definitely playing at 30 FPS. Maybe you need to make a short video. Okay, but yeah, that's not how I want to play. That's for sure. Auto could be interesting. Wait a second. Do we know which setting is used when we put it to auto?
And if you want
43, and if I put it to quality. Oh, interesting. Auto is slightly.
Oh, hey, I forgot.
Oh wow. I mean, I'm not too surprised that certain things don't look right. Hey, them 3 auto.
I'll check in with you later.
Not taking that one today. We wanna see how a proper car is working. I didn't actually take the Corolla for quite a while. Oh, it's probably too bright here though, because there's so many light sources. So many light sources here. For this one, you probably do better with the default setting. So you have, yeah, this looks better. 50% definitely looks better here, because there's so many light sources. So they have to balance out things. You have to balance out the lighting depending on the location. Is the FPS bad? Actually, no. I'm getting close to 60 FPS in a lot of situations. Whoa. Oh, that's the. Oh wow, the ghosting. The ghosting on a static image. That's crazy. Oh, the ghosting on a static image. That's crazy. How is it still remaining? You know what I mean? Like, why does it keep the values for so long? I've never seen ghosting on a static image. The time change. Although I do think this lighting setting is better. This looks insane. Yeah, there's a lot of cool things you can do with these tools. They're really power hungry at the moment, right? Like I need a 4080 to render this. But you know, it goes close to 60 FPS in a lot of situations. I'm actually not sure if I still have my teleport mod. Let's see. Oh, I do. Nice. Man, it's hella dark in these arenas. I mean, to be fair, if we actually broke in just to drift, you know, this kind of lighting would make sense. Like the floodlights wouldn't be running. I wonder if they can, at any point, you know, make it more efficient. All the lighting. Yeah, I think at some point Lisa was like, "Wow, there's a baby here now." Okay, I think the craziest moment is when they take your newborn and they just slap it onto your onto your chest, right? I don't know if you've ever saw that, but when a kid gets born, they just take it and put it on the chest of her mom, right? I think that was the most intense moment of everything. But they just slap the baby onto the mom's chest, you know, with the umbilical cord, the blood, everything. Can you do 300 rep every race? Probably not. There's a few races, unless your car is perfectly set up that you're not gonna make 300 rep. Shouldn't we... Wait a second. Shouldn't we already have performance upgrades available? Yes, we should actually. Wow, did you see the pixelation there for a while? Yes, I can see the lights already. This is so... Wow, this is so blocky. It's funny. A red Golf for the first toy? I like that. Any other good toy ideas? Like, what's something you always wanted as a little kid? Gotta say, the current lighting reminds me a little bit of High Stakes at night. Would be interesting to see what a Need for Speed would look like if they actually had some proper ray tracing. I wonder how much extra resolution is for the quality setting. I wouldn't be surprised if it renders in 1080p and blows it up to 1440p. Nah, Need for Speed is not dead forever. And they officially shelved it, meaning it's on pause until further notice. Which means they could continue it in 1 year or in 5. I think what they're saying is, we don't know when we continue Need for Speed. In my opinion, Need for Speed is still too big to be cancelled. But honestly, EA didn't even try to talk against it either, right? I love when the weather changes. No, this is not compatible with any other mods. I mean, with minimal mods, sure, but nothing as substantial as Underground 2.net. So the only time when this mod is extremely overbright
It's always been your problem.
is during drag races. Yeah, we're gonna we're gonna silently advertise Black Panther every time. All right, T. Now he has to play GTA at some point. Trevor Phillips. That should be a good role model. Well, he basically said, "Congratulations, that's amazing. Theus will take over the world." Congrats again to both of you. That was kind of his reaction. Nah, Theo is a cool guy. Never felt like he rubbed anyone the wrong way for no reason. Dude, what if he plays the Need for Speed games in the same order as I did? And then he just loves Most Wanted as much as I do. How fun would that be? I have no idea where all the Evolution studio guys are working nowadays. Would be interesting to know, that's for sure. But I can't say there's any racing game out right now where I feel like the Evolution influence is super noticeable. Whoa. No one at Criterion was boasting about working on Drive Club. I know that much. Oh man, Onrush. That game. That was Cheshire, right? Onrush was such a beautiful mess. I should replay it on stream at some point. Very shortly, because I know that game does not carry people's attention for very long. Yeah, we could have another stream where we just play trash games. I mean, to be fair, I didn't really hate Onrush. It just was a weird game concept as a whole. It's just unappealing to most people. You know, if I had to put it into a nutshell, it was basically they tried to make Overwatch as a racing game. This was a team battle. Everyone had abilities and character or car classes with different regular abilities, and then the super that they had to charge up, or ultra, I don't even know what it's called anymore. And then they tried to save the game by introducing microtransactions. Didn't work. Must be interesting to have a stream large enough that you actually pay your moderators. I mean, I would actually be surprised if someone truly wants to watch every stream, because that's the only thing that would make sense.
Well done or not, that ride is fucked!
Like hiring a mod part-time to moderate the chat doesn't sound reasonable to me. Honestly, I don't even know many streamers that have paid positions for moderators. And obviously they're gonna be immediately filled by people in the community. So as an outsider, you would have no chance anyways. It's kind of like a lot of the editors that I had for my YouTube channel were initially viewers of this channel because I know they like the content and they understand the content. I think that's a very important thing. Sure, you can hire a random editor from the internet, but if they don't actually watch your stuff already, you know, it's gonna take them a lot longer to get into it. You would need a bigger empire to pay for moderation. You know, I've chosen the niche of racing games and I know the limitations, but I really wish there would be like a new racing game big enough to make mainstream impact. But kind of like really liking the look of this RTX mod. Oh yeah, pro tip, read the readme, guys. Two things. Read the readme, otherwise you have the wrong graphic settings. And the second thing is if you press Alt-X. I actually like bumping up the brightness to 100%. In my opinion, that looks better than the default 50, which are too dark. There's only a handful of events where you want to turn it down. Like some of the drag races that have lights everywhere, they look way too bright. The regular city looks pretty good in my opinion. Dude, when there's like a lot of light surrounding the track, like it just colors the entire image. This mod doesn't work without ray tracing. Dude, this mod is all about ray tracing. If you remove the ray tracing, you have nothing left. It's like saying, hey, can I remove the 4K textures for this 4K mod? If you just want a better version of Underground, take the download link here. In the retro drive, you can just download Underground 2. It will run on your PC. I think I should take out the rearview mirror. The rearview mirror kind of breaks the immersion because it's not ray traced. Not gonna lie, drag races are pretty intense because you can barely see what's ahead of you. Oh, guys, do me a favor and put the calendar emoji in the chat. I'll tell you in a second. But like spam the calendar emoji for a second. And that's his birthday. I hope you have a screen big enough. But it's July 17th. Lisa actually figured that out. She was on Instagram when she saw that. The mod needs a crap ton of performance and a ray tracing graphics card. I'm not gonna lie, with the DLSS, I kinda like the motion blur on this. I just realized that the green reflection of the car makes my car green. Did you see that? The rain looks really weird. You see this? Like how the rain is like trying to cast a shadow or something? With these thick black lines. Also, I truly think I would be really bored if I would suddenly stop streaming. Right, some people are like, oh, I'm afraid that I will stop making content when the loan is paid off. The only thing I have to say to that is I didn't have a loan when I started streaming. I didn't have a loan for the first 6 years of my streaming career. I get stream because it's fun, because it entertains you guys. So no need to worry, I'm going nowhere. Yeah, I mean, I'm not too surprised that some people rent forever. The thing is, it also needs conscious effort. Right, to save up the down payment and to find a loan deal that isn't much more expensive than renting. Right, so the optimal idea is to buy a house on a mortgage that costs as much as renting. But if you do that, it only makes sense if you know that you're gonna be there, you're gonna stay there. But if you have a job that might make you move in the future, then that doesn't really apply to you. You can tell it's so much darker here because there's barely any lights. Need for Speed Marathon, yes, if everything goes according to plan. September 1st, we're gonna start the Need for Speed Marathon again. Yeah, it looks too dark for sure. Definitely one of the worst looking parts of the mod. I gotta be honest though, I'm not super convinced about the technology yet, primarily DLSS. DLSS, in my opinion, is a bit of cancer, because it always creates artifacts on everything. I think DLSS and racing games really does not go well together. Neither does temporal anti-aliasing, because it creates the ghosting behind the car so often. Like a lot of the modern graphics improvements don't really work well together with racing games. And one thing you should know, maybe you do know, is that racing games always had the stigma of being like amazing graphics. And I do really think that modern racing games do not have that anymore. Like, nobody looks at racing games and is like, man, this looks great. This is one of the best looking games on the market. Right? It's just not the case anymore. And all the new voodoo that they added with modern graphics cards, in my opinion, actually looks worse than before. Like, old school anti-aliasing was better. FXAA, MXAA, MSAA, all of those look significantly better than temporal anti-aliasing. Obviously, it comes down to the implementation, but in most racing games I haven't seen good implementations. Like, not even the Need for Speed guys managed to get the ghosting removed from Need for Speed's temporal anti-aliasing. I mean, ray tracing being the future, I can see it. But they do need to work a lot to make it better. I mean, to be fair, I played the new Doom, looks really good. You know, my opinion is very simple, you know. If a game is not worth buying, don't buy it, no matter how much it costs. I guess if a game is on a 95% discount and you can buy it for $2, sure, go ahead. Like, they're not gonna make that much money off you anyways. But the best thing you can do is vote with your wallet. Like, if you don't think Mario Kart is worth $80, don't buy it. If you don't think GTA 6 is worth $100, don't buy it. If you don't think Need for Speed is worth $60, don't buy it. I feel like CarX was actually alright because it's only like $20, I think, or maybe it was $30 on release. I just heard so many mobile gamers complain that all the PC players got the content for free. Right? Mobile players paid several $100 to get a fraction of what the PC gamers got. That was pretty funny, you know, kind of shitting on the mobile gamers. I think it's a nice waking up moment, you know, a reality check. Oh wait, you can have full games for $20. What? I don't have to pay several hundreds on my phone for a stripped down version of the same game? Weird. The thing is, they will go out of business if they make bad games, right? In my opinion, you should never buy a game to hope that they stay alive, like the studio. Show me, here's my point. Show me a franchise where people bought a shit game and then it got better. Right? Was there ever a franchise where the fans supported a shit release and then they got rewarded with a better game the next time? No Man's Sky got improved and then it sold well. There's a difference. Like, so many people refunded that game because it was so messed up. Like, it started selling again after it was fixed. Yeah, but you're talking about the same game, right? The argument was, do I buy the shit game now so I get a better game in the future? Like, it was still the same game and they just patched it, right? Exactly, you started buying, like a lot of people started buying Cyberpunk once it got improved, right? Once they fixed it. And at that point it was also on a discount. Like, most of the time, if a game is shit, people are either gonna refund it or not buy it in the first place because everybody is trash talking it. Deservedly so, right? So I would never support a game if it's not good, right? Like, if I get a game key, obviously for Need for Speed I didn't pay for it, I will still give my honest opinion about it. And a lot of people will either buy or not buy the game based on my opinion. I mean, if you have a big franchise, sure, from time to time you have a better game, you have a worse game. I wouldn't say that Battlefield 1 was great because they supported Battlefield 4. If your first game is shit, I mean, it doesn't even become a franchise, right? You can't call Blur a franchise. I mean, the game wasn't shit, but it sold really badly, right? Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's my point, my point too, right? I don't buy shit games in the hopes of a better game in the future. But I think every gamer goes through that. You know, they like a franchise, they buy every game, and then one day there's gonna be the first game in the franchise that isn't really that good. For me, that was Undercover. It slightly started with Pro Street because it didn't run very well on my PlayStation 3. It was actually... Pro Street was the reason I bought a PlayStation 3 in the first place. So I could play Pro Street because it didn't run well on my PC. It didn't run too well, so I didn't like it that much. And then Undercover came out and really killed me. That was such a bad game. The rain effect is weird. That definitely needs an extra touch. You can't really leave it like this. You know what's gonna be interesting? How long it's gonna take for them to keep updating this, right? Like, the project has been going on for a while, and this is 0.4. Like, I don't expect to see version 1 within 5 years. It's like drifting in a forest at night, right? There are like zero light sources other than your own car.
I've recently gone stone cold sober and loving life for once.
Hey, thank you, Seppuku. Yeah, getting rid of your bad habits has that effect on you, doesn't it? Hey, congratulations, man. Happy for you. You just don't want to be addicted to anything, really. You always need a good balance in life. The only thing I would consider getting addicted to is your profession, right? Right, if you're an athlete, you know, putting all of your time into whatever your sport is, makes sense. You can't get addicted to that. You can't get addicted to growth in whatever area of life. Yeah, they forced a lot of really weird things in racing games, which made them much worse. Input lag, probably the worst offender of them all. So many racing games were ruined by input lag. If you don't know what that is, it basically makes your car react more slowly to inputs. Number one killer. And Break to Drift definitely ruined it for a lot of people too. Like, some people just enjoy realistic driving, and Break to Drift, you know, just didn't connect to them, right? They didn't want this at all. It's causing input lag. Literally, developers saying the car reacts a quarter second later. There is no there is no cause other than pure intent, right? If you look into the code, it will literally say something by delay by, 100, 200, 300 milliseconds, whatever you were doing. Another thing they do is like make the wheel turn really slowly, right? Like really slowly, instead of like having a quick turn in like you would. Like think about a Formula 1 car. Like they jerk around the wheel fairly quickly, consistently, yes, but quite quickly, so the car reacts fast. So those are the two ways input lag fucks with your ability to drive the car. Either it doesn't let you turn in fast enough so the car barely moves, or your inputs are just straight up delayed. Mario Kart World, I like it. It's fun. Especially when you get into the deep end of things, when you figure out all the cool shortcuts that are now possible. And I got Mario Kart with the console, which means I don't have the physical copy of the game, but I did pay a lot less. Right, the game's only $40 in combination with the console. That's a much nicer price tag than 80, and I mean, if you want to play Mario Kart, that's a no-brainer. You're gonna need to buy a console anyways. And Pro Street, in Pro Street it's called Tank Slapper. But Pro Street additionally has slowly turning wheels as well, so it just makes for a really sluggish car that doesn't react to inputs. Would I continue on Frostbite? Okay, here's the reason why I would continue on Frostbite, because everyone that is working on Need for Speed right now only knows Frostbite. Unless EA allows them to use their own engine, renderware or whatever they had in the past for Burnout games. But even that would need massive new development. The problem is, at this point, you would have to make a new game engine from scratch, just for Need for Speed. That would work, but it would take time and resources. That's what I meant earlier by I would be fine if the game costs more, right? If I have to pay $80 for Need for Speed, which means they can create their own game engine to support proper racing, then yeah, sure, why not? I would like that. I would pay $80 for that game. Thank you, JJ. The thing is, all of the black box games were on their own engine, right? There's a reason the black box games are this good, because they wrote and used their own game engine. I don't know, maybe renderware got implemented into Frostbite in some way, shape, or form. Wouldn't surprise me, but no idea. I would also be surprised if that information is public knowledge. Right, companies don't want to give away their secrets to competitors. The problem is, if you use a general engine like Frostbite and you make multiple games on it, it's not going to be optimized for racing. But obviously Frostbite is optimized for Battlefield. Right, that is their major game, right? That's the big ass game. And FIFA, I guess. Right, so the engine is optimized for those games, and everyone else has to try to get it under control for other game types. The only studio at EA that makes their own game engine is Codemasters. Right, Codemasters is still using their own game engine for the Formula 1 games. And I truly think the F1 games would be absolute trash if they had to use Frostbite. So I'm pretty happy EA did not restrict Codemasters too much. More than they already did. But I'm not gonna lie, the news that Need for Speed got shelved, basically put on pause, did not bode well with the general news outlets. Right, most people are calling for Need for Speed being cancelled, and here's one thing where I get a little bit frustrated. EA didn't come out and say the opposite. Right, there wasn't any EA media representative stepping forward and being like, no, Need for Speed is not cancelled. Relax, guys, it's coming back. Because they probably don't know it themselves when they want to bring back Need for Speed, right? Need for Speed that uses the F1 game engine probably doesn't work. Need for Speed games usually have a lot of environment to render, while F1 games don't. One thing it would do well is the handling, that's for sure. So I don't know, maybe you can optimize the Formula 1 game engine for Need for Speed. As I said, you wanna nail the handling first, and everything else is secondary. F1 just tries to look as good as possible with the few things that it has to render. And Need for Speed is different. You need to render a lot of things at the same time, and at high speeds too. So possible, but you know, it's very possible that it's not optimal too, right? No, because it works for F1 racing layouts doesn't mean it'll work for anything else. But the guys over at Codemasters probably know that a lot better. Shift 2 still demanding. And actually, the Shift games, while I'm not the biggest fan, are pretty nice nowadays with handling patches. Like, once you fix the handling in the Shift games, I'm happy to play them. Or at least I'm not unhappy to play them. You know, it would be funny, a randomizer button. He actually started setting up the emulator for Sega Rally and stuff. Yeah, Techno Parrots started setting it up. I'm gonna do some testing after the stream, and then I'll see if I have it ready for tomorrow. Or Draft Club first. Yeah, maybe I should prioritize Draft Club. You're kind of right. Maybe I'll just do that, because when my son is home, I might have less time for that setup.
Like
okay.
Completely. Who is Kuru?
Let me put my PS5 on my nightstand. Next time I work out, I am guaranteed to run over my PS5. Not forget about it. Would it be okay with another live service Need for Speed where they slowly release content? Prefer a drop with all the content to be a one and done service with just standard multiplayer. I would be okay with it if it's good. Both ways. Here's the thing. I don't care how they design the game. I just want it to be good. It's been a while, right? Need for Speed Heat was 2019. That was the last time where I wanted a game to be good. Or where I said, you know, the game is good. You know, if it's as good as Heat, then I would be happy if it is a live service because it was so good and so much fun that I want to keep playing it. On the other hand, if it's as amazing as Most Wanted, then... Oh, look at the orange Golf. If it's as amazing as Most Wanted, then I wouldn't mind if the game is not live service, you know? You see where I'm going? I don't care too much about how the game is structured, I just want a good game. And I do not think that the direction of the game matters that much. What matters is the quality of the game. So yeah, I would be happy with both, and I think this is definitely something the publisher decides anyways. But you know, if you decide something like that, you know, how the game is going to be structured in this way, then at the very least they need to give the developers the freedom to make it work. But if EA says, hey, we need a live service Need for Speed, then this is all they should say, nothing more. Like no more meddling than this. Right, if that is their contribution to the game's development, then this is where it ends. But they just tell Criterion we need a live service Need for Speed, and everything else is in Criterion's hands. That's what I want to see. Yeah, Heat fixed a lot of things, and a lot of people really liked it. Like I still remember my and Black Panther's reaction videos to Heat being basically cancelled. I'm playing with walls because it's faster. And we're playing against the hard opponents. They're cheating too. I hope everyone gets to sleep well tonight. But my son Theo had problems gaining weight and sleeping in his first 3 days of his life. So this might be better today. Well, once again, it was massive mismanagement. So basically, they decided to close Ghost as a developer before they even knew if Heat was going to be successful. Think about that for a second. Right? It is known that they already decided to kill a Ghost regardless of how well the game sells. So yeah, in order to answer your question, they didn't decide to kill Heat. They already did ahead of time. You know, it was them realizing after Heat that they should have had a live service for Heat, and that's why Unbound got it. Problem was Unbound had a bad baseline. The thing is, people were crazy mad at Unbound. I don't think I've ever seen people hate on the Need for Speed this much since 2015, or Undercover. Well, Most Wanted 2012. Like, Unbound is right up there with that hated trio. I would love for them to bring back Midnight Club, but considering how much they invest into GTA, I don't see them. I don't see them making a Midnight Club. You know, they could do an offspring of GTA as a new Midnight Club, right? They could just take the world map, the cars and the handling, and just make a Midnight Club version of GTA. But at the same time, I feel like if they want to do anything in regards of Midnight Club, it's just gonna be integrated as part of GTA to sell even more copies. Yeah, I think the most likely scenario is that we get a DLC that is Midnight Club themed within GTA. You know, might be part of the regular offline solo mode, or it might even be integrated into GTA Online at some point. The thing is, Midnight Club LA didn't even fail. It just didn't sell as well as GTA. Right? You know, the publisher takes a look at GTA and Midnight Club and is like, we put similar effort into both games. GTA massively outsold Midnight Club, so why should we make another Midnight Club? Just focus on more GTA. Yeah, Lisa, my son is still in the hospital. He needs to gain more weight before he can come home. So they will probably come back on Monday. We'll see. So yeah, I do not expect a standalone Midnight Club video game, but maybe. They made Red Dead Redemption 2. You know, the biggest hope that I have for racing games right now is obviously mods, but even more than that, indie developers. There's a handful of really good-looking indie racing games coming in the near future that I look forward to. And they will probably replace AAA racing for a while, until AAA gets their shit together. Top 3, Night Runners, Tokyo Extreme Racer is gonna get a big update soon, and the third one... the third one was recently shown. It's basically a canyon racer with cops. Do you guys remember what it was called? And it also had Pursuit Breakers like Most Wanted. Like, it looks really promising to me. A JDM racing game. It's alright, but it's not in my top 3. Something Dragon. Yeah, Something Dragon. I honestly think Recreation is gonna be terrible. Okay, let me give you some context. You wanna know who Recreation is made from? The worst racing game, Dangerous Driving, is abysmal. Is this Burnout 4? No, it's Dangerous Driving. How many did I only make 2 videos? You can't do that, by the way. You cannot speed up the text. Those are the people that are making Recreation, and I really hate their handling model. I really hate their crash model too. And they're just faking themselves, being like, oh, we were ex-Burn developers. I mean, sure, some of you guys worked on Criterion to make Burnout, but you cannot tell. You really cannot tell that those guys made Burnout games. You know what my biggest beef is? Everything in this world, it's not even my biggest beef. Everything is like a 4-lane highway in the entire game. You know, and I can only imagine this game with Trackmania level design. And it doesn't excite me. Hearing that, you know, hearing that idea, this game with Trackmania levels, it just doesn't excite me, man. But yeah, those are the guys, they made this game. Obviously, there has been many years since this, but... Screamer, oh yeah, we saw the trailer for this one. I never played the original Screamer because it's really old. And... in my opinion, you don't see enough yet to judge the game. It gives you an idea. Milestone are the people that made the Hot Wheels, the new Hot Wheels games and other racing games. So they're decent at what they're doing, right? They're pretty good at making racing games. I don't think a lot of people not recognize, resonate with cars looking like this. I still feel like most people resonate with realistic looking cars, but that's not really the main point. It's gonna be the gameplay of this that is gonna decide if I like it or not.
He's here. It's Gabriel.
Gabriel. Damn, brake to drift.
Dit is 7. Ik dacht dat je wilde racen.
The thing is, it's not even the handling, it's the camera that might throw you off. Because the car turns, but the camera kind of stays behind the car regardless of how much it's turned. Yeah, Screamer was PlayStation 1 and Microsoft DOS. really old Windows, basically. The thing is, it just doesn't look like anything special, right? It looks like your typical indie racing game. I'm not sure this will catch too much attention, but it definitely has rich racer vibes. I do agree on that. Could be okay, but I think it might be too little to be interesting. Why's my sound gone? Alright, I guess I have to restart the game. In my opinion, Grid is dead. Because here's the thing, they actually invested a lot of money and time into the last one and it didn't really pay off from what I can tell. And when I talked to a Codemasters person, the vibe felt like it's dead. And at this point, Codemasters only makes F1, which is so sad. There's so many bangers in the racing game genre from Codemasters that I love, but they're all discontinued. The only thing left of Codemasters is, you know, being a support for other EA studios and Formula 1 games. I mean, the Formula 1 games are good and they probably deliver what F1 fans want. But I feel like even F1 fans don't buy every single version of the game. Yeah, there's actually a handful of light sources that don't work. There's a reason this mod is in version 0.4. New Stuntman game, yes! I mean, I really like the first two, so I would be happy to play another one. Oh yeah, they recently added a hardcore difficulty to Tokyo Extreme Racer, now with oil and water temperature. I will probably play it again when there's a bigger update. Maybe even the full release of the game. I'm not sure actually if they gave us a full release date for the game yet. I gotta say, the neon looks kinda cool now. 1.4 million signatures and stop killing games. Fuck yeah. Let Ubisoft cry, right? If someone needs a reality check, it's Ubisoft. By the way, anyone in here that cannot watch the new 2K streaming quality? Because it seems like Twitch has finally figured out the infrastructure. We haven't encountered lags for 2K in quite a while. You missed me, thank you, man. Well, I got a son. My boy Theo was born 3 days ago. That's why I wasn't here. Now I'm back. Ready to entertain you guys. Well, being offline the last 4 days was my paternity leave. The dedication to the community is hard. Hey, for sure, man. I can't leave you guys hanging. You guys are my other family. I can take a break, but I can never stop. People are relying on me, man. That's the best thing that can happen to you as a man in this world. That you are a mentor and someone people can rely on. At the age of 3, he should speedrun Most Wanted. I do not think you're good enough to play racing games at 3 years old. I started around 6. So when I played like Need for... Actually, I started with Mario Kart. And when I was 7 and 8, I was like playing Need for Speed games. Let's see. Some weeks ago, YouTube algorithm decided to watch the 7-year-old speedrun. And you say someone 2018. That's awesome. Thank you, man. More carbon, Most Wanted before I start having withdrawals. And riding the new Lambo. Hey, thanks, man. Yeah, family life is gonna hit me soon enough. But yeah, obviously I'm gonna keep the streams going. This is still my passion and my job, so I'm very blessed. It's funny how all the reflections mess with the surroundings. The worst offender that I've seen so far is that the color of my car changes. Because of, you know, light sources around me. Thousands of killing games. Absolutely love it. I love the big ass support that it got. It's exactly what we need. 100% for it. You cannot fuck the publishers enough, if you ask me. Put the consumers first again. Imagine how mad you would be if you could never play Underground again. Just assume for a second Underground is an online service. Can you imagine the outrage? Am I gonna do outruns? What do you unlock from the outruns? I think some Junkman's performance parts and visuals too, right? You need to do it to get access to the white body kits. But I think that's for chapter 5. Most Wanted is turning 20. Oh yeah. I wonder if any modder is hard at work to get something out for Most Wanted this year. I would love some kind of mod being themed for 20 years Need for Speed. Most Wanted. I think the best we're gonna get is the Need for Speed Twitter account giving it a shout out. Rework team is cooking? Oh, I love it. That's good. Will it be playing the shift games? Yes. Aren't you familiar with the Need for Speed Marathon already? I play all the Need for Speed games. No, the most ridiculous ad that I actually accepted was Ace Racer. They had such a specific script that I had to follow to a T that it seemed so fake and like somebody was holding a gun to my head. If you're curious, go over to YouTube and type in Ace Racer and Kuru. This video here. Hashtag ad. That was yeah. Interesting experience. YouTube gives you hentai ads. Well, that has to do something with your browsing history, my friend. Yeah, that's what they call personalized ads. You know, I'm fine with the heights for the most part, but one problem remains. Without a teleport mod, and you end up on the top of the mountain, it just sucks. Because at some point you're gonna have to get down off the mountain and then you have to drive all of these roads again without doing anything. Yeah, they lose a shit ton of power while drifting. It's a bit slow. Definitely prefer faster drifting style. Like Carbon? Dude, I love drifting in Carbon, it's so much fun. That's the kind of energy that I want from a Need for Speed. I want to feel my face melt. And Carbon does a really good job with drift events and face melting. The canyon. Even high-speed races in the city. You know, another franchise that should be faster is Sonic the Hedgehog. Especially the upcoming Sonic racing game. I'm not sure it's fast enough. Pro Street speed challenges, absolutely. Like, in order to be a true Need for Speed, the game has to feel fast, and it usually comes from having really good grip at high speeds that allows you to drive that way. Speed challenges 100% need to make a comeback. Another thing Pro Street showed well is having like specific cars, or even specific tunes, depending on the event type. Apparently Virtual was the first one to climb the ice tower. That's impressive to me. Like, there's definitely people out there that are more competitive than him in regards of the racing aspect, but he definitely knocks it out of the park when it comes to these big tower challenges. Yeah, it's awesome to see that the Trackmania community is flourishing, showing publishers it's still a sensible thing to do to make racing games. But the interest is there, but you just need good content. I gotta be honest, if you are successful as Virtual, I could totally see myself playing it for so many years. I can 100% imagine myself to be a one-game streamer. The game just needs to be good enough. For example, if Blur was insanely popular, that would be my one-game stream content. The thing is, you know, just having diversity is not good enough, right? Like, we still can't keep up with Virtual and his, you know, one-game streaming. But variety by itself isn't good enough. It always pays to play the popular games. Like, if you can bring something to the table for a popular game, usually you get success. You know, by playing less popular games, you can differentiate yourself too, but it is really hard to reach the mainstream. I was waiting for it. But yeah, Trackmania in itself obviously is made for variety. You only play one game, but the game itself varies a lot. But yeah, until Trackmania 2020 and the scandal around Riolu, Trackmania wasn't really mainstream content. Like, this big drama story actually got a lot of eyes on Trackmania, and Virtual utilized it perfectly. And he kept it interesting ever since. Like, he's very talented in both, you know, game skill and making content. I feel like nearly everyone has played Trackmania at some point. So there's a lot of legacy with the franchise too. And Trackmania is actually one of the few racing franchises that evolved. I think it's fair to argue that Trackmania 2020 does have, you know, the most creative tools and mechanics for people to enjoy. You might have a favorite or so with the older Trackmania games. And it 100% helps that the game is free. Absolutely. Like, that will get your foot into the door. I actually kinda really like the concept of Trackmania. It has single player, it has multiplayer. It is free. And you can... Whoops. And you can invest further if you want to. But you want some of the goodies, you just pay an annual fee of 20 bucks. Which is not much. Hey, my favorite song, 14.484 kilometers. So I'm a little frustrated that Need for Speed never stepped up their game, right? Because I always like hardcore focused on Need for Speed content, and if the Need for Speed games don't deliver, or don't even release for a while, then, you know, obviously my reach is gonna suffer. If the mainstream is not on board, I only get to entertain the dedicated fans, which is great too. Makes for good conversations with you guys in the chat, but you know, sometimes you just want the big stream. Yeah, but paying for access in Trackmania, in my opinion, doesn't really feel like a microtransaction. It's a subscription, basically. And as someone that played a lot of World of Warcraft and actually enjoyed the continuous release of more content, you know, it can work really well, and I think it does with Trackmania too. Yeah, I mean, Need for Speed is definitely on pause for quite a while. EA right now only cares about Battlefield. So until, hey, Drift King, until they release the new Battlefield, do not expect any kind of development in the direction of Need for Speed. Yeah, the thing is, they don't even give us good stories and good mechanics, or as you say, perfect story, great mechanics. So we're not even getting that. I think that's my issue. I mean, the current economy is kind of fucked anyway, so free games have a lot of appeal. And the thing is, around a free game you can build a huge community, obviously. You will have a lot of people hanging out, even if they're not spending. Street Racing Syndicate, but gacha style. Oh, are you gonna gacha your girlfriends? I gotta say, I missed the drag races that happened in the city. They were more exciting than Underground 1. Right, in Underground 1 they had jumps and obstacles. Like, I genuinely think the drag racing was a lot more fun. It's not completely lost in Underground 2, but I don't know, just more interesting in Underground 1. Yeah, I don't know many people that enjoyed the Underground Racing League. In comparison to racing in the city, this was boring. It kinda ruined Need for Speed for me, because Need for Speed for me was always not being on racing tracks. Like, growing up, I did not enjoy racetracks whatsoever. And then having to race on fake racetracks did not make it better. Looks dark for you, man. You might be for a rough awakening, you might be in. Because the default setting is 50. Let me show you the default. This is the default brightness level before it's adjusted. Obviously, you can manage. Yeah, a lot of people stopped Underground 2 because it was too grindy of a game. Especially Stage 5 takes one hell of a long time to finish. Trying to catch up on some sleep, so guys, sleep tight. To come back tomorrow for more hot shots. Good night, and come back. Bye bye.